Politihoot! And now, from a lonely little corner of the Bronx,
blue states are floating the idea of not sending federal tax dollars to Washington. Finally, a plot twist in politics that doesn't involve indictments, pedophilia, or Rudy Giuliani sweating hair dye like it's soy sauce. Usually, Democrats pull this move as filing a sternly worded complaint and then congratulating themselves that they just stormed Normandy. But this is spicy. This is Democrats waking up and saying, well, what if we stop being sugar daddies for red states who think government handouts are evil until a tornado eats up their Piggly Wiggly? Remember, this is America. You can literally get a gun delivered to your door faster than you can get your tax refund. So blue states are saying, we're done paying is basically the equivalent of ghosting a bad date who shows up in socks with Crocs. Now, who pays and who plays? Blue states pay the bulk of the federal tab. California alone sends about $470 billion in federal taxes every year and gets back way less than it puts in, according to the California Legislative Analyst's Office. Meanwhile, Mississippi gets back more than $2 for every one it sends. The Tax Foundation calls it a balance of payments issue. Let's call it a legalized shakedown. New York paid $89 billion more to Washington than it got back. New Jersey lost over $10 billion. These states are basically America's unpaid interns. They do all the work, they get none of the credit, and they're always being told to smile more. If California is the sugar daddy, Mississippi is the raccoon digging through the trash and still sending him an invoice. Enter Gavin Newsom, AKA America's ex-boyfriend who moisturizes. He's pretty mad about this. But has he built a secret Venmo account at Sexy Governor 69? Sadly, no. But he has been loud about the imbalance, especially since Trump's 2017 tax law capped the SALT deduction. And look, any policy with the word salt in it, it really should be applied to Trader Joe's dill potato chips, not taxation. Okay, so let's take a deep dive. Before 2017, blue state taxpayers could deduct unlimited state taxes from the federal return. Then Trump said, what if I screw blue states and call it tax reform? Enter the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which slapped a $10,000 cap on those deductions. The result? The Tax Policy Center says it hit blue states the hardest. According to the Brookings Institute, 4 states, California, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, shouldered half the burden. That's like going to dinner, paying the bill, and still having the waiter spit in your soup. Mississippi taxpayers didn't even notice because their property taxes cost less than they paid their cousin Bubba for his Netflix password. So back to Newsom. Some California Democrats floated the idea of a state tax escrow account where the money sits in Sacramento before going to Washington. Translation? We'll just hold onto it until you prove you won't spend it for another bridge to nowhere. But the IRS does not play. The IRS doesn't take IOUs, and they don't have a PayPal family and friends account. They will take your stuff, not just your car, your kidneys, your left nostril, anything that fits in a box. Are other states joining in? Well, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, they're all mad. They sued over the SALT cap back in 2018, but a real plan to stop the payments, not yet. They're like people who spend all night talking about how much they hate their job, then show up Monday morning with a big smile on the Zoom call with fresh coffee. Now, Article 6 of the Supremacy Clause says the IRS has full authority. If California tried to block payments, the courts would strike it down faster than you can say Supreme Court ethics reform. Edward Zelensky, professor at Cardozo Law School, told NPR, this would be struck down instantly, dead on arrival. Translation? Even Brett Kavanaugh would spit out his beer. And let's be honest, that's saying something. So why do it? Because politics is theater. This is the giant middle finger to Uncle Sam. Blue states say, we're tired of paying for bridges in Alabama while our freeways look like a Mad Max sequel. So what can you do besides yelling at the IRS until your voice cracks? First, push Congress to revisit the SALT cap. Call them, email them, show up at their offices with a giant inflatable tax bill. The Tax Policy Center says repealing the cap would reduce the federal tax burden for millions. Make that point loudly. Second, demand equitable federal formulas. The Government Accounting Office, or GAO, found disaster relief formulas screw states with big populations. Mississippi gets full coverage for a flooded Dairy Queen, while California gets half the funding for a fire that burns down an entire county. Third, support state lawsuits. Push attorney generals to keep filing, even if they lose, it keeps the issue alive. This is America, guys. We litigate everything. It's our national pastime. Fourth, protect yourself. Pay your federal taxes. The IRS is like the mob, but with much worse customer service. Fifth, get petty. Mail pothole bills to Ted Cruz. Send Rand Paul your student loan balance. Create a GoFundMe called Mississippi Pay Your Damn Rent. 6, organize locally. Join or start coalitions demanding fair federal funding. Make some noise because the squeaky wheel gets the grease, or in this case, the highway grants. 7, vote. If you want to change the tax code, stop electing people who think economics is a fast food menu option. No, California cannot withhold federal taxes. Not unless Newsom wants to kick off Civil War too. But the imbalance is real. Blue states are Costco members, while red states are those guys who show up for the free samples. So this is theater. California is the fed-up sugar daddy. And the question is, how long before daddy starts asking for the receipts? And you know what? I hope that when he does, he stamps the request, collect on delivery.
Politihoot!